Hey, it's your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're going to zoom in and focus in on a very important and fun topic, and that is why it's important not to over-idealize the narcissist or keep the narcissist as a role model. Because a narcissist has an inflated sense of self, a sense of superiority, a heightened sense of self-importance, especially as it relates to others, coupled together with a lack of empathy, they tend to feel above others, above the law. Because based on their sense of self-importance, they will be very unaccountable for specific jobs, certain tasks, certain responsibilities that they just will not handle. It's kind of like the example of, that's not my job, I'm above that, I'm beyond that. You get a lot of this with the narcissist. This is part of their mindset, and this will impact all areas of their life, from their intimate relationships to their familial relationships to their employment and career relationships, and what they will really take on. This heightened sense of self-importance gives them a bigger than life or a grandiose position, especially socially and in families, which we call the public persona. This is the mask. This is the facade. This is the image management, which the narcissist will engage heavily and create a lot of energy to creating image management, or how they present themselves to the world. Especially in their career, intimate relationships, they'll come off as the prince, the knight in shining armor, the princess, being more gifted than others, more talented. They have a heightened sense of self-importance. And we're not really discussing right now the cause, we're discussing really how it presents in relationships and how it impacts others around them, because this heightened sense of self creates an environment where this individual feels that they reign superior. They won't engage in specific behaviors that might make them look bad or be confrontational in nature, or really require them to be articulate and really be solution-oriented. They want to just deflect that onto others, make others do this work, so that they will then be freed up to engage in more self-centered activities. And so oftentimes this individual, because of their heightened sense of self, they tend to be idealized by others. People tend to look up to them because they have created this as a pattern, and they've created this in their relationship dynamics, where they are the ones to be looked up to. They are the ones to be admired. They are the ones to be basically the one attended to and get all the attention in specific positive ways. They draw this from the people, and they draw this from the circumstances in their environment. This is part of their personality. This is part of what they seek. This is part of what they crave. And this is how they manipulate others, through coming off as a very smooth, suave, debonair, and they really almost seem superhuman, ultra-human, very perfectionist in their standards. So they tend to create this atmosphere where they are the ones to be looked up to. And so oftentimes, if you find yourself in a relationship with a narcissist or a psychopath, you might look up to them, you might admire them, you might idealize them, over-idealize them, and they in essence have become like a role model. But realize that oftentimes it's very important to not over-idealize a narcissist. It's important to not have a narcissist as a role model, because oftentimes their values, their behaviors, their attitude, and their mindset is not very conducive to getting along with others. In fact, they tend to pit others against one another, that we see in triangulation and splitting behaviors, but oftentimes they can be very judgmental. They can be very condescending, and they can be very insultory, and this becomes then absorbed through emotional resonance. This tends to create a like energy amongst others. So this is very dysfunctional. If you are around and absorbing of a narcissist energy, you tend to internalize this. We call this emotional resonance. It's like a tuning fork. If you're to use a tuning fork, in the letter C, it'll then create the same energetic resonance to that same note. So we call that emotional resonance or energetic resonance, where others then become, part of that same mindset, attitude, behavior, and energy. So it's very important to not only become aware of this, but to protect and live by your own empowered energetic resonance, especially as it relates to a narcissistic or psychopathic abuser manipulator. That you have your own energy, you have your own values, you have your own stance, and you're able to be assertive in that, become attuned to that, to become aligned to that, and exercise that through repetition and experience and a vision for yourself moving forward, so you are able to equalize that or neutralize it or deflect it, and not keep this narcissistic individual as the person who you are looking up to, but be comfortable now getting a realistic viewpoint of them, which is oftentimes that they are not the heightened, self-important individual which they promote themselves to be, that they oftentimes have a private self, which you oftentimes being close to them get to see in their in their private world. You get to see their shortcomings. You're aware of what is underneath the mask, underneath the facade. And so oftentimes other people don't get to see that because of their image management and their public persona. People only see a very specific aspect of them, and you know the real deal. So you need to own that, and you need to become empowered with that, and not become a victim, and not over idealize the narcissist. Get a realized, not a degraded sense of them, and furthermore, let them be in their condition. Don't try to change them. Do not try to become responsible for their evolution, but really get a healthier role model for yourself moving forward. A role model which is one of values that are conducive to you, that are functional, non-judgmental, and not where one has to be better than. Because oftentimes I find that the value perspective of trying to, of the narcissist, because if you have to be better than another, you're constantly needing to put others down. That's not a very healthy mindset. That's not very conducive to a functional reality, and it's not very conducive to good health, because if you're constantly living with conflict consciousness and that resentment and that hostility of feeling like others are always less than, you're really creating an energetic block within yourself, which is based on high judgment and creates a real uncomfortable, I would say, tension within the body, which is not healthy. So seek furthermore to release the judgment that the narcissist will be promoting in their environment. Let that go and be at one with your own value, which is based on your value of yourself and what you can then do to bring and add to the circumstance yourself outside of what the narcissist will be trying to deter and deflect you from as a negation. Because remember, the narcissist will seek to create the imbalance where you don't get a chance to speak up. You can't share your opinions. You can't share your viewpoint. You're not pretty enough. You're not handsome enough. You're not strong enough. There's always a less than pervasiveness in their dynamics. So make sure you assert yourself, you value yourself, and don't be deluded by that illusion of being heightened or more important than others that the narcissist will seek to deflect. Furthermore, don't idealize them and don't look up to a highly judgmental mentality, because oftentimes that is not what is serving you in the long run. Embrace your own values, your own personal input, and that you have to bring to the table, and know how very important it is. The negative messages that the narcissist will give, deflect it off. Realize it is what it is. That's just a narcissist trying to manipulate and control. Furthermore, assert yourself, share your opinions, share your values, and keep reaffirming to yourself how important you are and what that you add to the environment, And remember this again and again and again, because as you do this, you'll find that you're empowered in not evaluating yourself negatively, but that with practice and experience, you'll begin to feel good about this, and you'll begin to feel empowered, and that low self-esteem will begin to fall away. It'll begin to fall away. It'll slough away like a dead skin, like something that is no longer serving you. It'll begin to release, and you won't feel that self-limiting belief tend to hinder you and hold you back socially. So please practice it. Work on that recovery journal. Work on that positive vision, those positive affirmations with the I am, I feel, I find that interesting, I furthermore feel this. Become more embracing of those statements and build up more into your repertoire. If it feels like a conscious effort in the beginning, that's important, because that means that you're creating that growth. You're creating a new neural pathway. You're creating a new verbal expression for yourself. And that's part of the creativity and the real miracle of personal growth, is learning to arrive and generate and create those statements and those viewpoints and emerging into new feelings and new environments. It's like being a pioneer. So if you feel like it's very new to you, that's a great feeling. Test it out. Test out your assertiveness. Test out your affirmations, and test out your self-esteem, and continue to remind yourself it requires self-talk. And I know a lot of viewers feel like they're not good at that. You need to try this out. You need to exercise this positive self-talk and do this again and again and again and again. And if it causes a lot of discomfort in the beginning, that's because it's new. But don't give up. Stick with it. Stick with it consistently on a daily basis, so it'll build up. It'll build up. It'll build up. And that positive energy will then become natural and automatic. And you will not feel like such a victim. Furthermore, you will not be a victim, because you're living in energetic vibration and resonance with self-value, self-esteem, and assertiveness. And that will become aligned, and you will automatically begin to deflect those victim statements. And furthermore, you will not be in that victim role. And people, furthermore, will not seek you to be in that victim role, because they'll be able to sense it from your energetic vibration. Peace and harmony with you here today. I hope these videos help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support. And keep up the good work.